Hey, you guys. Felicia here. And I am so excited to announce that my course is open for registration. Yay! Win at Work Post-MBA. Set yourself up to win over your boss, gain sponsors, and fast-track your next promotion. So, of course, I know this MBA world, but some of you may not be MBAs, and that's okay. What I need you to do is go on over to trillinba.com/courses and schedule a registration call with me. Spots are extremely limited, so we don't have a lot of time. The course will start in August. So go on over, make your registration call, we'll connect and make sure that this course is exactly what you need to get on the fast track to your next promotion. So again, that's trillinba.com/courses and schedule your registration call today. Don't wait, because ain't gonna be a lot of time. These spots are gonna fill up quick. I've already gotten hundreds of emails from you guys saying that you wanted to be in this course. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see us thrive in corporate America. Yay! Okay, you guys, have a great Sunday and let's start the show. Welcome to the Trill MBA Show. I'm your host, Felicia Ann Rose Enuha, aka the Trillest MBA you will ever know. And I'm here to help you survive and thrive in corporate America by giving you the truth and being as real as only I can be. So picture it. You're sitting at your desk. And you're trying to breathe, but you're just so... You just read an email that came for you from your coworker. Or you just had Becky say something for the umpteenth time about your clothes or your style or your hair. Or your boss just took credit for your work that you worked on like for the whole month, the big project. And he did it in front of you and the whole team. And his boss is clueless that he's so mediocre as fuck that there's no way he could have ever did this great work. Or you just found out you're being set up for failure by your manager and you got the receipts. Or you just left a meeting with HR and your boss with a goddamn pip in your hand. I mean, I could go on, but y'all feel me, right? Frustration. It comes in so many forms. And I'm telling y'all, in this episode, I'm going to share with you 2 ugly truths that have me frustrated as hell this week. And then I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I do to help me process and help me get out of frustrated mode and stay focused on what's important so that I can get my best possible outcome. So, happy Sunday, y'all. And here we go. So, the thing that has me super frustrated this week is watching y'all go through all the bullshit. OMG. Now look, I love it when y'all send me letters and y'all ask me questions. It just confirms every moment that I'm doing the right thing, that this is what God put me on earth to do, because it does give me fuel. But I think what frustrates me is when I can't really really fix it. Like, I can't just come show up at your job and like talk to your boss and be like, what the fuck? Because that's really what I want to do. But, most of us, we all grown, right? We working, and yeah, there's no somebody come to your job and advocate for you. Although that should be a service, huh? That's an idea. Table that. Most recently, though, the frustration has leapt from y'all and people I don't necessarily know, although we know each other. We know because we all in this corporate thing together. But this time it hit close to home. Now, y'all might have seen my rant on IG about my little cousin. And I need to stop calling him little because he's 20. He's like kind of grown, which is weird. But my cousin is in this summer internship. And thank God he's almost done, y'all, because, y'all. So I'm not going to go into details right now because he's actually going to come on the show and share his story with all of us. Honey child. This week has been a week because y'all don't understand. This is my baby. Like, I'm 21 years older than him. Like, I'm old enough to be his too young mama. Like, he's 20 and this is his first internship. And the same shit that I saw happening to like other Black interns at the companies that I worked at is happening to him. And I'm just like, so pissed, y'all. So what I did learn this week is that if you are being set up for sabotage and you know it, you cannot react out of your frustration. Like, you just can't. And I really want to big up my cousin because he did a great job. He stayed positive. He kept his cool. I mean, I got more riled up at the shit than he did. He was laughing at me. At least I got him to laugh. And he was like, Cousin Lisa, I'm just going to take this as a learning lesson. And I was like, this is why you're my baby, because you're so smart. But he's in good spirits. It's almost over. He presents soon. Oh, y'all, I can't wait to tell this story. Like, I probably am going to have to get some lawyers involved as far as being open because I want to name names. I'm naming names on this one. Like, we going all the way true when that episode comes out. We are naming names. We're putting this company on blast. And they're not going to like it, but we got to start holding these companies accountable for the BS. But I am so proud of him. I can't wait for you guys to meet him via the podcast. He has a very bright future ahead of him. And there's nothing that this young man can't do that, as long as he puts his mind to it, he can get it done. So I'm not really worried about his future or trajectory. I just don't appreciate them mistreating my baby. So that's the first thing that frustrated me this week. After the break, I'm going to share the internal conflict that I'm having between my authenticity, aka my Black ass self, and possible business opportunities. Like, am I fucking this up? We're going to talk about it after the break. We'll be right back. When I graduated, I knew I was going to take over the world. So how the hell did I get here, sitting across from HR saying, well, what are my options? I didn't even have a chance to get a promotion. Are you feeling this way, sis? Trust me, I have been there. You work 10 times as hard and you don't even get close to half as far at work. And the harder you try, the worse your work situation seems to get. But what if I told you that you can turn it all around despite your boss, how he acts today, despite the microaggressions you experience, despite seeing others have success for doing way less work? You can get on the fast track at work too and be seen as high potential performing talent. and gain your next promotion. If you are a highly ambitious MBA and you don't feel like your career is moving at the pace you thought it would, I have created the course for you. Win at Work Post MBA. Set yourself up to win over your boss, gain sponsors, and fast track your next job promotion. Go to trillinba.com/courses and schedule your registration call with me. Spots are limited, and I am definitely taking this so seriously to curate the right group of people to work with so that we can all rise together. So it's very important that you schedule your registration call as soon as possible. The course will start in August. Again, trillinba.com/courses and schedule time to talk about what you need to rise and thrive in corporate America. Now back to the show. All right, y'all. So breathe. I just breathe. Okay. So what had happened was I was recently on a phone call with Nicaila Matthews Okome. Y'all know her. She's the host of Side Hustle Pro podcast, which if you got a side hustle, you should be listening because that's where all the sisters tell you how to elevate your side hustle and how to get it done and make it happen. So that's a podcast you should definitely be listening to every week if you are a side hustler aspiring to full-time entrepreneurship. So full disclosure, I'm also in Nicaila's Podcast Moguls course and group mastermind. I was one of her first Podcast Mogul students. And she has just been a tremendous supporter of my mission to give Black women the real in our own voice when it comes to career management. So, she was consortium. She got her MBA from Michigan. She knows what it is. She's been in corporate America. She knows the shit, right? So I was getting some advice from her. And during our conversation, I shared that I applied for the South by Southwest panel picker. And I'm hoping to do a live podcast episode, you guys. It would be my first live podcast episode. So pray that we, get picked. But my goal, though, is to interview the first and only, and I'm going to put an asterisk by that only, Black woman to be the standing CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Now, the asterisk is, y'all know Mary Wilson was very recently appointed to be the interim CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond. So it's like, do we count her? Do we not? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, at first I was like, oh my God, she's like the second CEO. And then I read and it was like, no, she's the interim and they have a search company looking. And I was like, All right. So I told her, this would be so excited. Maybe it'll happen. If it happens, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then she said, so, you want to interview Ursula Burns? I saw your Instagram today. Back to life, back to reality, back to life. Yeah, like all the way back down to the ground. I was like, She was like, her PR people are going to check all of your stuff, right? Like, because to be your Black ass self like I am on this podcast, although it feels so good. Does it not feel good to y'all? Because it feels so good to me. But it's a real concern. Like, it is. Like, and then my heart drops and it's frustrating. And so, like, don't get me wrong, Nicaila wasn't wrong, like, to bring that up. Like, real talk, right? Like, understand you and your Black ass self and corporations, it could be like oil and water, where, you want to be like oil and balsamic vinegar so you can mix that shit up. So there's a great chance that a lot of people, including Ursula Burns and Mary Winston, like, these are people I want on the podcast. These are people I want to talk to. Like, I want to be like, how did you make it, girl? Tell us. Like, act like you talking to a group of your Black girlfriends from back home and talk to us. But they might not want to fuck with me. Because two things. One, I say the things that we think, but we know we're not allowed to say without negative consequences in the workplace, right? Like, I'm that person. I say those things. I am not PC, nor am I trying to be, and don't want to be, about our experience in corporate America. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I am here to tell the ugly truth, #ugly truth. And I know I'm telling it in a way that's likely not acceptable. For example, let me give you an example of an acceptable way to tell these corporations and these folks and these organizations about themselves. I want you guys to listen to this TED interview with Mellody Hobson. Just listen.
So how does your term color brave, how does that relate to affirmative action?
I'm a believer in affirmative action. I'm sure in my lifetime I have benefited from it. I think the world is better for me having benefited from it. I know I certainly am better. I think affirmative action is, in certain situations, very necessary if we're going to have any opportunity of my words catching up. Because when you see the numbers over and over again, I love that line, math has no opinion. Just count. I had a friend who was on the board of one of the major university law schools in the United States. And he had this conversation with me. He said, Mellody, we don't want to go to lowest common denominator. And I said, that's a really interesting point. And, he thought that I would say, like, I agree with you and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to say this in a way that I hope comes across correctly. And it is a nuanced comment that may sound extraordinarily inflammatory, and I don't mean it to be. But it assumes that every single person in every university and every law school and every college is exemplary. And there are people who are mediocre. They just are. And that's not about race or anything like that. And there's a bunch of mediocre white people in some of these institutions. And so this idea that somehow if a Black student has different standards or different scores or whatever it is, that somehow it takes the whole institution down, I don't agree.
Now, she just called white people mediocre. Straight up. She called white people mediocre. But it sounded so light and flowy. Like I had to rewind when I first listened to this podcast episode. I was like, wait, did she just... Hold on. No. Yes, she did. She called white people mediocre. Oh, it felt so good. But when I call out white people for their mediocrity on this podcast, it don't quite hit the same way. And that's okay. I'm not trying to be Mellody Hobson, although I would love for her to come on the podcast and talk about being color brave and like what we as Black women can do to encourage our counterparts at work to be color brave. I think that's important for us, especially as we are working on building more deeper and strategic relationships in our workplaces, right, ladies? So that would be awesome. But again, will Mellody Hobson fucks with me? I don't know. See, See, the problem is when you're that high up in an organization, there are expectations for how you present yourself, including where and why. And so a lot of people will take tidbits of what I say on this podcast, and they will believe that I hate corporate America or I hate these companies. Let me tell you something. Why would I hate something that gives me money in exchange for my time and effort? Who hates something that is a conduit of money into my household? Why? That's dumb. I don't hate corporate America. What I hate is being mistreated. That's what I hate. And it so happens that since we spend most of our days in the space of these corporations, and it's where we face so much mistreatment, that's the shit I'm talking about. Okay? And since I'm talking about it, and I don't sound like Melody Hobson with it, that was me trying to impersonate her. That was trash. But listen, this makes some people uncomfortable, which means if someone is in a position at a corporation where their public image could affect the company positively or negatively, well, hell, they got to play it straight, dog. That's the money, right? And ain't shit straight about this podcast. It's just not. Now, I will say this. It still hurts, y'all, because I want y'all to hear from these types of people. I want you to hear from the first Black woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Tell her trill story and give you the real actionable game. I mean, how she actually did it, y'all. The how. And not some PC answer like, I worked really hard and I, just really knew the business. And, that stuff they do on panels and shit like that. Like, no, like, come on, girl, tell us some of the shit you went through. Like, let us know we're not alone. Like, that's the kind of conversation I want to have. Like, how did you make those relationships? Like, how did you create relationships with these white men, these white women? Like, how'd you do that? Because we are struggling to do that. And like, what were you intentional about? And what was just sheer divine intervention and like, the spirit just rising you up? Because Lord knows the first Black woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company, she had Jesus or God or Yahweh or Buddha, whoever, higher power. Oh, because it takes the good Lord and all the disciples and all the angels and the ancestors and the spirits and the trees and all the crystals. I mean, all the crystals, right? Like, I cannot imagine what this woman went through. Like, I want to talk to her and I want her to talk to y'all and I want her to share the real. That would I could die a happy person. But hey, good news is, okay, I shot my shot. I applied to the South by Southwest panel picker and I sent an email letting Ursula Burns know that I applied for this and would love for her to be the person that I interview if I'm chosen. And I guessed at her email, like them headhunters, like companies have first name dot last name at whatever the company's thing is.com. So I kind of guessed at it. It didn't get a bounce back. So I took that as a good sign. I also added the PR email from the company she's currently with that she heads up as the CEO. So I guess we'll see what happens. If any of you guys have connects, let her know. Like, Felicia, she's a little raw. She's a little edgy. She does that for humor and to make light of, the stuff we got going on. But, she really be teaching us some real stuff. So like maybe you should give her a chance, and we could put like disclaimers and stuff out there. And maybe I won't curse, and then I definitely won't say the N-word in the interview or something like that. Yeah. You know why I think it hurts? I think it hurts because it feels like my whole unfiltered self is like somehow not good enough. Like, I think that it's why I find corporate so hard, and that I have to show up as someone I'm truly not in order to succeed. And I don't know about y'all, but that's the thing that has always really fucked up my mental real bad, like real bad. So between life and feeling like you're not good enough, it's like I'm not good enough at work. I'm not good enough at home. Like, this is why I advise all of us corporate warriors to go to therapy, because if it wasn't for my therapist, I wouldn't be here. I'm just going to be honest, because it's been a long road, y'all. A long road. So, biggest lesson here is I know I'm helping you, and you are my priority. So I'm sticking to who I am. I'm going to be my Black ass self. I'm going to show up in my full personality. I'm going to give you all this good Black vernacular with my polysyllabic or polysyllabic. There's a preference there of how you say that. But I'm going to give you all my big words, and I'm going to give you all my slang, and I'm going to, talk about how great Beyonce is, but we ain't going to talk about the Lion King. But I'm going to do that, okay? Because I need to say the shit that people think and don't say, so that you're not alone out there. That's the biggest part of this podcast, is so you know that every week you walk in that office, you got somebody who understands and who's right there with you and here to help you get through it, so that you can get your best possible outcome out of every role, every company, every situation, and so that you can work on rising as high as you want to go. So it's not just one Ursula Burns. That's what I'm doing. This ain't about me. And if I'm deemed too much or too unprofessional for potential guests and potential sponsors, and as frustrating as that shit is, so be it. I don't care. Because again, you are my priority. That's why you can connect with me for free. That's why I'm happy to help y'all. I don't do this for money or notoriety or anything like that. Like, I have a why, and my why is to be that voice that we all need, that I needed when I was in my 30s. And I felt so like, y'all, I was in such dark places trying to figure out where the light was to make it, because I wanted to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But I can't pretend, I can't hide all this. It's smart, it's Black, it's blackity black. This nigga it's this nigga shit. We call it DNS. It's just all kinds of stuff, all rolled up into one wonderful thing. I don't know why God made me this way, but I have to live this way because I'm most at peace inside. This is my peaceful place. And I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to do what my spirit says is right. And sometimes it might feel like I'm losing, but I know for sure when you guys email me and I have help for you, when you leave reviews that are like, please keep doing, and you help me when I meet y'all in person and y'all like, oh my God, you have no idea how much you helped me. That's all that matters. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to share the steps that I did this week and that you can take to deal with frustration. And I'm going to tell you what to do when you're in the office. I'm going to tell you the steps you need to do. It's not easy, but it's doable. You can do it. As always, you know you got this. So we'll be right back. I have to shout out one particular review that I received recently. The title of it is That Part by Ginger854. And they left this on July 4th, which is a day of rest for us. And Ginger854 says, "It's taken me a moment to write this because I didn't want to leave anything out. I became interested in getting an MBA 2 years ago. Since then, I've been on a complete roller coaster until I found this podcast. Felicia, the host, is not a recent or aspiring MBA giving her 2 cents. She's also not an MBA consultant charging $10K to help you get into school. She's a Black woman dedicated to helping other Black women thrive. She's so real. If you've thought it, she's said it. She can explain it, and she has research and receipts to back her up on the reasons behind the trends we see with Black women in corporate America. From a place of humility, she shares super relevant guidance to help us make it over. Listening to these podcasts, I can't believe it's free and that someone would care this much and be as dedicated to helping us thrive. I've been telling everybody who will listen that this podcast is golden. I quote Trill MBA several times a week. I'm less distracted by the social pollution at work and more than ever motivated to stay focused on my journey to be my best self. Felicia, thank you for this show. May God bless you in your going out and coming in. So much love to you. I can't wait to see your next boss move." You guys, I love you guys. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I do this show because I have been through a lot in my life. And if I can help save you from some of the unnecessary BS, then that's what this show is all about. And if I can inspire you to keep going and keep trying and keep working hard, because sometimes you just want to stop and lay down and quit. But if I can keep you from quitting, I can get you over these humps. Just imagine how many Black women will be at the top of corporate America in the next couple years. Listen, what I need you to do is go on over to trillinba.com. I've got some freebies that I'm going to be giving out in August, but you got to be on my email list. And I want to make sure you guys get everything that I can give. I'm going to leave it all out on the table for y'all. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And thank you for listening. Please, if you have any questions, concerns, email me, ask@trillinba.com. I am always down to help us. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, we back. And before we get out of here, I'm going to give you these 3 good steps to deal with frustration. So step 1. So step 1 is the easiest, and I feel like the most effective. And it's very simple. You stop, close your eyes, and breathe. Just breathe deep, breathe in, breathe out. Do it again. Breathe in, breathe out. And I've been doing a lot of breathing lately. I just close my eyes and I do a mental sigh, let it go, every deep breath in and out. And I do that until I can get myself to calm down and I don't feel my heart beating so fast and my pulse racing and my anxiety on 100. And I just I just had to make myself stop and I think about like flowers and Idris and Blue Ivy, 'cause she's cute. And then like, because, me and Idris might have a kid, but Idris is married. And I think my other friend really wants him. So, Michael B. Jordan, even though he's probably too young, just think about happy things. But I close my eyes, I think about happy things, and I breathe heavily. And that's step one. And I do that for really however long either I have to do it or it takes to get me to calm down. But I really try to just stop myself, stop the thoughts, stop ruminating on it, just breathe and calm and bring myself back to a level place. That's step one. So step two, I ask myself, do I have control over any part of this situation? So like with my cousin, oh, Jesus, I had to breathe a lot. And I knew, like, you don't have no control. Like, you can't get on a plane. You can't fly there and, like, go confront these fools. Like, you can't do that. So what can you actually do? And so I was like, okay, I can tell him to do this. We can strategize through that. And so I felt better knowing that I could try to do something. But sometimes you can't do nothing. Sometimes you find some situations you're like, oh, I can't do shit. And when you find that, you just have to say out loud, okay, universe, I surrender this to you. And then me, I'm ignorant. So I roll my eyes because like I told y'all before, I got reluctant faith. So I have faith. It's very strong, but for as strong as it is, it be reluctant. Yeah, so, God's working on me, okay, y'all? It's working on me. And then the third thing I love to do after I've calmed myself down, thought about it some, but that's the thing. When I start thinking, like, what can I really do? Then I start getting in my head. And so then I phone a friend or two or three. Sometimes I need a bunch of different people to distract me from myself. But what that does, talking to your friend about it, is it gets you out of your own head and it gives you a different perspective that you might not have thought about. And so it might help you look at stuff from a different way. You might have been looking at the shit all wrong. Or maybe there's a win-win that you can't see that your friend is like, oh, hey, no, actually, if you think about this, this, and this, it might work out like that. And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, so it might not be too bad. And so if you're at work and this moment of frustration hits you like, you just got handed a pip, because that's I've been there, y'all. It take all of Jesus, don't it? It take all of Jesus. Like, because they doing you dirty and, because that's why you mad. They doing you wrong. People who get a pip and they don't even be mad, they be like, all right. That's because they ain't trifling. And so they know that was coming. Like, they don't even care. So when you get mad and you care, that's some BS. So what I say, if you're at work, first thing, you got to stop and breathe. But you need to find a space you can go, a place off to yourself. That's what you have to do. You got to maybe go to your car even if you have to. But like, you have to get away. One, before you pop and unload on these motherfuckers. But mostly because if you're like me, you're only human. Like, I get angry and I start crying because I'm so angry. And I'm not a physical fighter. Like, I'm not violent. I sound violent because my words are a little violent. But deep down, like, I don't want to hurt nobody. Like, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to do it. Now, if it's me or you, life or death, then, adrenaline kicks in and I'm trying to kill you. But for the most part, that's not like the workplace. So, I'm just going to cry. Like, tears are going to start coming down from my eyes. And that is okay. You are human. And we got tear ducts and liquid comes out because we're human. And that's what happens. So it's okay. So take you some deep breaths and let them motherfuckers flow if you need to. You by yourself. You're calming yourself down and you let it out. It helps your blood pressure. See, when you try not to cry, it makes your blood pressure go up. So crying is actually healthy. That's why you got tear ducts. So use them. It's good for you. So once you kind of calm yourself down, then that's where you go to asking yourself, like, what can you realistically do that would yield your best possible outcome, right, in this situation? And if you can't figure it out, that's when you need to phone a friend, right? But at this point, before you get to call somebody, you might have to get back to work or get to a meeting or, suck it up and get back to it, poker face, right? That's fine. But as soon as you can, outside of work, phone a friend and don't talk to anybody at work. Remember, at work, everything is great. Everything is positive. No complaints. The complaints and venting are to be done in your safe spaces outside of that building, outside of the work crew. Like, they are never to know how much you hate something or what you wish you can change. Okay? Because, again, we got to play the game. And so the people who present as they love to be there and they're happy there and they like working there, those people get ahead. Because nobody wants to work with somebody that don't want to be there. I mean, you don't want to work with a motherfucker that don't want to be there. So don't be that motherfucker. It's that simple. And the thing is, it's hard because sometimes you don't want to be there because you just got treated like shit. Breathe. Okay. Trust me, we're all going to be just fine. One thing we can always depend on, shit is always going to change. So remember, cooler heads prevail. The universe is always conspiring in our favor. And as always, y'all, if you need some help or advice about a specific situation, go to trillinba.com/coaching. Schedule a free consultation with me, the trillest MBA you will ever know, and I will help you strategize and walk through your specific work situation. In addition, you can always email me, and I love getting your emails. ask@trillinba.com. So listen, I'm always either happy to help, or if I don't know the answer, I'm going to connect you to the right person because I don't know every damn thing. So, hit me up. trillinba.com/coaching. ask@trillinba.com to email your question or concern. So, I know Mercury's in retrograde, so that's probably why I'm in my feelings. I'll be glad when that motherfucker's out because, woo child, I have done way more than my fair share of breathing. I'm sure I have helped many plants in my area with the CO2 coming out my body. But it's okay. You got this. I got this. You got this. We got this. Because at the end of the day, we are Black Girl Magic. Yes, we are. So until next time, you guys, next Sunday, see you right here. Same time, same bat channel. But until then, keep it trill. The Trill MBA Show is a Fair World Corp LLC production. Executive produced by Felicia and Rose Enuha. Music is Kick Push by Ryan Little. Keep it trill every day, y'all.